Hi guys, welcome back. One of the most exciting video that we did in our channel last year was about this guy, which is Honda's iconic CBR 250R. It was like a relaunch for the CBR 250R and the caption well suited it at that time. And now it's been more than a year since that update and still Honda didn't make any changes, and I thought maybe it's time to take a look at the CBR 250R once more and find out whether it's still worth buying. I'm not gonna go deep into its design elements because everyone is familiar with it, and also a previous video about the bike covers its design pretty deep. And if you want to get an in-depth view of the design, here is a link to that video. And now, just to give you a brief idea about the design, the headlamp looks kinda sleek and it's a LED headlight. Now this headlight unit is a very good one in terms of its range and coverage. So even if it's pitch dark, you won't have any issues getting through. And now turning your concentration to the fuel tank, it's a massive tank with cowls which has pretty neat graphics, which is a CBR branding. The color options available are 4, and the one I really prefer is the matte black finish ones. Now one thing that looks really dated with the design of the CBR 250R is the speedometer console. The console is an analog digital console and I feel it looks a bit boring. Then the handlebar is the clip-on type and has all needed switch controls, especially the engine kill switch. Then for the tail light, it's pretty much classic CBR, and the bike also gets very chunky tires, which is a good thing. So overall, even though the design is a very familiar one, it still stands out and I still like the design of the CBR 250R. And also one thing to say is that the plastics used are of really good quality. Well, that's all good, but the CBR is still famous not for its design, but it's for its performance, ride quality and comfort. So let's check that part, and to begin, here's the specs of this 249.60cc bike. Well, on paper, the bike surely has sufficient power and torque, and that's reflected when you take the CBR for a spin. You're not getting a very punchy initial pickup, but instead it's a evenly laid out one, and hence even if you're a beginner, you can easily ride this bike. The bike doesn't hesitate a bit in gaining speed, and you can easily hit the 100 km/h mark. And one of the things that Honda does well with almost all their bikes is the refinement, and here also it's the same story. The CBR 250R is a very refined bike. No matter what speed you're riding, you won't feel any vibrations or discomfort. And I can still say that it's one of the best bikes in this segment based on ride quality and comfort. The seating posture is not very aggressive, and hence this bike can be used for short city commutes as well as for touring. The handlebar is positioned a bit low, but it's not very far, and so you don't have to stretch a lot. The split seats used is also very comfortable with good cushioning, and hence both the rider and the pillion won't experience any discomfort. And like I said before, the bike's performance is also good, and so you can take the CBR for occasional track rides, and because of this, I like to call this bike an ideal all-rounder. Well, a couple of things you might be having doubt about is the seat height, and it's 784 mm, and for a person with my height, it was perfectly comfortable. Both my legs stayed well planted on the ground, and also I didn't experience any issues with the handlebar. And for your reference, my height is 176 centimeters. Then for the bike's weight, yes, it's a heavy bike weighing 167 kg, but still, it's a controllable bike. Now, because of the bike's design, it's not going to be very easy to flick around when you are stuck in traffic, but still, it's manageable. Then about the ground clearance, it's 145 mm, and during testing through some really bad road conditions, I didn't experience any problems. Honda also used very good quality suspensions here. The front is a telescopic suspension, and the rear is a Pro-Link monoshock suspension. And I have to say that it's a comfortable suspension. Take the bike through rough patches or even worst, and still you won't feel any stress or strain. And this is actually one reason why the CBR 250R has great ride comfort. Then for the brakes, there is a dual channel ABS model available, and the braking of that variant is pretty spot on. I did try quick brakes and I didn't experience any skids or rear wheel liftoff. Honda still advertises a non-ABS option on their site, but I doubt whether it's available, and since they have that model, the pricing seems to be the worst factor of this bike. The ABS variant's ex-showroom pricing is 1,98,812 Indian rupees, and I feel that's on the higher side. Now the last thing about this bike is the fuel tank capacity, and it's 13 liters, and for the mileage, in good riding conditions, I got approximately 29 km/L. So I guess that's everything about this bike, and like I said in the beginning, the big question is, should you buy one in late 2019? Well, it's a tricky situation now. This bike is still a very good option, but the problem is that in 2020, we'll see a lot of big changes, especially with BS6, and also now Suzuki has launched their 250cc bike, which I didn't personally test, but the reviews are positive. So what I would say is that If you haven't set your mind on a CBR 250R and you're willing to wait for BS6 bikes to come, and also if the price hike that's sure to happen with BS6 is not a problem for you, then surely don't buy a CBR 250R now. But if you have set your mind for one, then get one because it's a great choice which will last for you for a long time and you won't be disappointed. That's all for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. If so, please do hit the like button and please do subscribe. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.